let me take this opportunity to invite our members of the Fourth Estate for one or two questions. Our guest has a very tight schedule, and he should be leaving us in the next 5 or so minutes. Thank you.
My name is Sarah Zombati. I work with the Star newspaper. And I will ask, why Kenya? Why did you come to Kenya, maybe?
Well, one big reason for my visit to Kenya is to reinforce our relationships with our FBI partners like DCI and Director Amin. Those partnerships are especially important given the threat that foreign terrorist organizations like Al-Shabaab pose to security both in this region and beyond. Tackling threats like the terrorist threat requires teamwork and everyone bringing their unique capabilities and perspective together. And one of the most effective tools that we've found for combating the terror threat, though it applies to other threats as well, is the Joint Terrorism Task Force model, the JTTF model. And bringing together investigators from different agencies to sit side by side, shoulder to shoulder, sharing information in real time at the level where it can be actioned quickly and effectively, and combining the unique authorities and tools that we all have to maximize impact. When we at the FBI pioneered that concept, that model in the United States, it was considered very novel. And JTTF Kenya is the first of its kind, not just in the region, but in many ways in the whole world. And so Kenya's creation of a JTTF of its own demonstrates their commitment to collaboration and to innovation to tackle the threat, which is certainly growing. And that's a credit to Director Amin and others in the Kenyan government who recognize the value of collaboration to combat threats most effectively.
Next, please.
Thank you so much, Director. You've talked about the transnational organized crime, and Kenya is listed 16 globally in terms of organized crime. Lately, we've seen crime that are emerging, like the issue of money laundering and wash, if you've had that. And most of the people who are affected are actually unsuspecting foreigners, which I think some of them are from your country. How are you partnering with Kenya to help this? And then just in a rider to that, are there persons of interest that you are working with Kenya?
Well, when it comes to organized crime is one of those threats that ignores borders and is very transnational in nature. And it takes a lot of different forms. I know, for example, that our partners at the DEA do a lot of work in that realm when it comes to narcotics trafficking, and we support that where we can. But narcotics trafficking is often just one piece of the larger web of organized crime. You mentioned money laundering. Of course, that's always an important part, and part of what we do is try to follow the money. But another part is human trafficking, which is obviously one of the worst kinds of threats that we tackle because it impacts often the most vulnerable members of our communities, children often. And so we're working with partners like DCI to host trainings, to share expertise in things like forensic interviews to help us all better tackle the threat. But this is definitely an area where we are looking to do even more given how important the threat is to both of our countries, but also a whole host of other countries as well.
Hello, sir. My name is Gatete Njoroge from Citizen TV. The question I'm going to ask will cut across both directors, and it's about corruption. It remains a big challenge. It's always a complex web to prosecute big corruption cases. How is the United States and the FBI collaborating with the DCI to help in terms of prosecuting corruption cases in the country? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. First, I would like to add on to the issue of the gold scam. Indeed, it is true that in the recent past, we as a country experienced a spike in terms of gold scamming. And the victims are mainly from mineral producing countries. and they use Kenya as a transit hub. These fraudsters do collaborate with some rogue lawyers, and they open escrow accounts whereby the money is again immediately withdrawn from those accounts. But we have so far managed, and I must say that, to downgrade successfully the activities of these gold scammers in Kenya. So much so that they have now relocated to some of our neighboring countries. We have had successful prosecutions. Out of a total of 71 reported cases, we were able to identify, arrest, and prosecute 64 people. Some Kenyans and others are foreigners. And in our investigations, I must confess that the FBI has been able to assist us, and we were able to collaborate with them, particularly in the aspect of social media investigations, and as well in the recovery of the proceeds of crimes. Corruption, like you have said, ladies and gentlemen, it is a transnational crime, and it poses a serious threat to our international society, and as well to the stability of our states. It is an existential threat. And as a country, we have taken deliberate effort to make sure that all cases of corruption are reported, regardless of the persons or the entities involved, are expeditiously investigated and prosecuted. We have so far investigated a couple, and we are still continuing with the investigations, and several of them are at various levels of investigations. In terms of collaboration, the FBI has also assisted us, like I said, in terms of intelligence sharing, and also when it comes to investigation on matters relating to the social media and the recovery process of the proceeds of crime. So it is true that we are collaborating, and as a country, we have no room for any corrupt activity. Thank you.
So I'll add to those very good comments that investigating corruption has been at the heart of the FBI's mission for many, many decades, and it is among the most important threats that we investigate, because corruption strikes at the heart of the rule of law and in public confidence in their institutions and governments. And typically, by its very nature, corruption involves individuals who are powerful or wealthy and powerful. And the most important way to demonstrate to the citizens in any free society that they can have trust in their institutions is to have agencies like DCI, like FBI, investigating those offenses. They are challenging cases to pursue, but they are incredibly important cases to pursue, and we look forward to collaborating more and more with DCI on that very important front.